This is Dr. David Schein, and welcome to Business Law 101. So one of the things that we look at is assent. Did you have the capacity to assent? Did you make a deal? Did all of us were in the deal? One of the big problems we have with online structure is that the businesses like Apple really don't know if they've got a 12-year-old or a 21-year-old on that order form. And so this can be, especially if the parents are using the same app and have saved a credit card where somebody can sign in and just click and say, yeah, I want this. And the credit card's already saved. They just click a couple more times and they've bought something. And so there's been a dispute about this. I take the position that if it is a minor, that it should be a voidable contract. However, I would also argue that it is the parent's responsibility to supervise minors, and that I'm not a fan of letting kids loose on the internet without direct adult supervision. And I also feel that there are some changes that can be made and some steps where parents can keep a closer eye on their kids, and including letting them to work on their computers when they are not connected to the internet, and restrict their time to the internet connections when you are able to more directly supervise them. I know it's not always possible, especially as you get in 15, 16-year-olds and older. Obviously, they're going to have a lot more ability to do those things. We talked about minors before, and keep in mind that the minor can enforce the contract or avoid it. The adult is stuck with it. Keep in mind, one of the best examples of ratification is a minor enters into a contract, it's voidable at that point. After the minor is no longer a minor, they turn 18, they ratify the contract. They say, yes, I'm planning to comply with that contract. It is now not voidable. It is now a valid contract. Now, we've mentioned this, I think, earlier when we first introduced the topic, is we used an example of Justin Bieber before he turns 18 is out on a performing tour, and he books a room in an expensive hotel, runs up a huge room service bill. They may not be able to stick him with the whole bill. Say the bill's $20,000. But if they go to court, a judge might say, hey, you know what, $20,000, that's pretty rich. But the value of the overnight accommodations, the food that he had, realistically will order $5,000 be paid to the hotel. So they won't get the 20, but they'll at least get something. And again, we're looking at food, clothing, and lodging, medical services, and education. One of the things we want to mention to you is the contrast in third-party rights between common law and the Uniform Commercial Code. So if you buy something under common law that belonged to a minor, but if the minor elects to rescind, you're going to lose the deal. You're going to have to give it back. Now, under the Uniform Commercial Code, however, a person with voidable title has the power to transfer good title to good faith purchaser for value. So keep that term, good faith purchaser for value, in mind, because you're on the way to a holder in due course, which we're going to address later in the course. But keep in mind that this is a very powerful situation. What's interesting, the common law rule is still applicable to sales of real property by minors, which is pretty scary. Imagine if you think you've bought a property, a piece of real estate, and you move in and then you find out the minor changed their mind on the deal. So that's not a good situation. This is Dr. David D. Schein for Business Law 101. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite platform.